We want to basically equip entrepreneurs to be able to manage their business, but also their life in a better way. We were so innovative. It was important to just pull back a little bit and have some core traditional services that people could be familiar with as well. So adding the gym back on was a real help, actually. After COVID, everybody wanted to be on strength kit. Everybody was sick of like doing bodyweight workouts at home, and people really, really went crazy for the S&C. And that's never really died down, I'd say, since.
There are plenty of people listening to this, kind of figuring out what their next concept is or their first concept. Would you have done the same thing that you did, knowing what you know now?
That is such a great question.
Hello and welcome to Gym World Worldwide. I am your host today, John Franklin. And as always, we have a very special guest. This one is from across the pond, as they say. It is Joe Gaunt of Zeno Health Clubs and Health Labs HQ. He's got an interesting background, an interesting story, a beautiful looking gym, and he's got a cool little project that he's incubating and rolling out and coming hard into the United States here shortly. But since we are Gym World, we are going to start with the gym. So first, welcome. Glad to have you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. No, it's great to be here.
So tell me about Zeno and the concept.
Yeah, so essentially, a bit about my background. I spent 20 plus years in the fitness industry. So I left university with my psychology degree. I'd already studied anatomy, kinesiology, and my basic fitness instructors awards. So started out at a company called Fitness First, who were globally the biggest operator at the time. I loved the industry. I got promoted 4 times in the first year, ended up being a GM within a year of leaving uni, had this team of 25 in my own little space. It was great. And then I worked Fitness First and did some projects for them in the UK, Malaysia, and in Australia. And then I was very fortunate to get approached by Virgin Active. I then became the ops director, worked more to be an ops director and sales director for Virgin Active right after the 2008 crash this was. So a bit of context on how old I am and how long ago this was. But London had just been hit hard with the financial crash, really needed a recovery. So they put a new team in there to do that. And then, yeah, I had a great time at Virgin Active for a few years. And then I drifted in and out then of fitness and technology and well-being space in terms of various roles as MD and CEO and sort of like global leadership board positions. And along that journey, I was asked to build an employee well-being product because I'm super interested in health. I'm super interested in everything fitness related. And I quickly realized this is what I wanted to do with the rest of my career. Like the things I was frustrated about with Gym World were basically focused around that sense of not completing the full picture for the member. So you might have somebody who's getting really physically fit, but they're not necessarily mentally that well. You might have somebody who's training really hard, but they're not looking after the nutrition. Therefore, they're not getting to the outcomes that they wanted. So being able to build this wellbeing product that was sort of holistic, including fitness, including nutrition, but widening that scope to things like sleep and, mindfulness and things like that was a really good opportunity. I ended up starting to build that and then just decided, you know what, this is the future for me. So hence why Zeno was born. And I decided that I wanted to enter the startup world myself and really build something unique and innovative that had that sort of whole person holistic view in terms of how we help people in the fitness space. So we built the place in Manchester. It's a funny story now, but it wasn't funny at the time. We were given like a 10 building rollout deal where we were going to sort of build this showcase site that was like super investable. We could show investors around. It would be like this marquee space with view to then rolling more out. We already had a 10 deal sort of rollout planned. And then we spent £1 million on the fit out. It was stunningly beautiful. It's got a cryo chamber. We were labelled by The Guardian as the UK's first mental health club. We had all the media arrive because we offered anything from CBT to, health assessments and health screening, a lot of the traditional services, but then, these 4 very outcome focused studios that were really about health outcomes for specific challenges that you might face. All done to the finest possible specification. So something we were really proud of when we built it. And we built it just in time for COVID. So we opened and then, unfortunately, within 2 months, we opened in the January and then by the March, we were all locked down. So pre-sales, build up, everything that you need for a startup gym to be able to build out. We unfortunately didn't get, and then we were closed for a couple of years. So that's the story of that.
I saw that timeline. I saw in the pre-show notes that it was January 2020. I was like, no.
Yes.
And unfortunately, that is not a rare story.
Mm.
Unfortunately, yeah. But this place is stunning. So the initial plan was to open this one, get it to a certain size, and use it to as like a basis to show other investors and to build it out throughout. Were ambitions worldwide at the time or UK specific?
Alongside starting this part of the business, we also had a health technology product and then a whole range of health services. So I should add that beyond my sort of professional career, I also continued my training and became a health psychologist. So I've just finished my doctorate, and I'll be Dr. Joe when I pass my Viva next month. So very much what we built was about health outcomes and that more holistic view, like I mentioned. So we had the gym. We planned on rolling that out around the UK. In all the major cities, but then we planned on scaling the technology out to other countries and the services. But then, yeah, like I say, COVID hit, and as always, you've got to adapt and revisit those plans. So, I'm a really big, and I've always been a big fan of the US gym space because I just feel different to the UK. There are a lot, particularly with things like PT. You have a lot of career-long PTs, personal trainers, who are doing like a whole range of services. Whereas in the UK, you tend to get highly trained younger people sort of doing the PT qualification, but you have a really high percentage drop off of people who then leave to go do something else. So I just think that creates a different standard of sort of service on the gym floor with people who are very used to speaking to people and been doing it for years. So we very much wanted to get to the US, but yeah, with everything that happened, we wouldn't be doing that with gyms these days with the cost of delivery, unfortunately.
This looks like a very premium space. I don't know much about the real estate market in Manchester. Is it expensive to lease out type A space like this, or what is a rent on a facility like this?
Yeah, I mean it's mid market because the north is cheaper than the south. Like London is like the most expensive, so it's cheaper in that sense. But this is bang in the heart, the city centre of Manchester. So city centres are a premium. So again, it was that was the challenge. So yeah.
And so, talk me through it. There's four. It's like a clubs within a club. Is that how you would? Is that how you would describe it?
Yeah, exactly. So 4 studios with 4 specific health outcomes in mind. We built such a big space with one of the studios a couple of years ago. We then reinvested and added the gym, so you could just come and do open gym and just come as a gym member, and still had loads of free functional space. But yeah, essentially, we built a cardio studio, which was the group cycle, which was a mixture of the like soul cycle party on a bike type thing, mixed in with like the data driven session. So it's got a big projector that comes down. You can project your cadence and things like that on the screen. We had a traditional yoga Pilates studio, again, very much with sort of flexibility and core in mind. So again, that's been real popular. We got a Lululemon kit fully throughout that. And then we had a strength and conditioning studio. We were the first people to design our own strength and conditioning classes. So we wanted to introduce people understanding strength and conditioning technique, and so be able to get a good workout, be able to get some compound movements in, but also get that sense of being trained and walked through technique at the same time. So that was very much for that health outcome. And then we had a huge functional space upstairs, a boxing area, and then kettlebells, and the ability to do lots of hit and movement, jumps, twists. Again, for that sport specific movement. And that space was that big, like I say, we could then turn about half of that into the gym a couple of years ago.
Is the space you started with the same space you're in today?
Yes, just with the gym added.
Okay, so it's actually gotten larger over time with the
we configured, I would say, where like we had such the big green space that you might see on the website. About half of that was reclaimed and then turned into sort of open space, strength and conditioning space.
All right, so then let's talk about packaging and pricing. Is it one price, you get access to everything? Do you buy per each club? How does that work?
So when we started the model, the boutique thing was just on the rise, and it's like, So Cycle had just come out, and there was the whole range of boutiques in London that we were really sort of big fans of. So we started out with a class, like class pack model, I would say, but we tried to create a hybrid where, because we really cared about health outcomes and wanting people to sort of come and have the best possible experience and encourage them to train more. Because of course, if you're in a pack model, you'll train so many times based on how much you can afford. So we had a pack model for the people who just wanted that flexibility, but we also created an unlimited membership. So you could pay, a headline fee like a traditional gym membership, and then just use everything unlimited, all classes as many times as you wanted. Because again, for us, it was about genuinely caring that we got people sort of using the services as frequently as possible.
And so what do memberships cost? I see on your site you publish them here. So what does a membership cost?
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? I don't even know the latest numbers that we've got, but we just changed the unlimited numbers actually. But what we've done now is essentially remove the packs. So I can't remember every single headline number, but we basically just removed the pack system recently, so that we've just got gym, sort of traditional gym membership. By adding in the gym, I guess one of the big learnings for your listeners, or like from our perspective, we were so innovative. It was important to just pull back a little bit and have some core traditional services that people could be familiar with as well. So adding the gym back on was a real help, actually. So we simplified things, took away the packs. I don't know if you guys have the problem over there, but for us, another big challenge was things like ClassPass. So that ability to, if you were still in a class model, you'd still need to sort of be at the whim of ClassPass, where if they had an offer on, or if they did something, there's third-party erosion in terms of margins, but also you weren't fully in control of when you could put an offer on or when you'd expect a spike in membership. So we just decided to leave that completely. And so, we've that's what we've done. So all of the memberships, even if they have like a credit number on them, they're a monthly fee. So you couldn't buy a pack as in like four sessions. It's like you could do 4 sessions in a month, but it's a monthly membership. So essentially it's back to that traditional old school gym membership of monthly recurring revenues.
Got it. So it looks like it's about £75 if you want to go to the gym, and then $125 for unlimited. So that's gym plus classes. And then how many classes are you running throughout each day?
Each day varies, because obviously we've got like peaks and off peaks for the weekends, and with it being city centre, we don't open on a Sunday and we just have Saturday morning, so it really varies through those days.
All right. Generally, though?
Yeah, well, generally you'd have about sort of eight a day in the week.
Okay, 8 a day throughout the week. Got it.
Yeah.
And they'll be split. Like, is one area more popular than the other ones?
Well, it was an interesting one because you would have a real resurgence of things like strength and conditioning as soon as people were allowed back in the gym. So as in after COVID, everybody wanted to be on strength kit. Everybody was sick of like doing bodyweight workouts at home, and that little kettlebell that they had that they didn't expect to be using as the only piece of kit. So people really, really went crazy for the S&C, and that's never really died down, I'd say, since. Strength and conditioning has been like the really popular class, and because we created like that class structure, again, that we feel that added to the popularity as well.
Hey gym owners, are you looking for a way to generate more leads, close more sales, and increase client retention? Introducing Kilo. We are a software company that gives gym owners the tools they need to increase revenue and run a successful gym. With Kilo, you get a beautifully designed website to capture more leads, an integrated marketing automation platform to increase sales, and our gym management software so you can add new client memberships, process payments, and organize your class schedule. If you're ready to upgrade your gym management software, book a call at usekilo.com.
And let's talk about size. How big is the gym? Because it's tough to tell from the pictures because it's compartmentalized.
Yeah, it's 10,000 square feet.
Okay. Are you guys at UK square feet, or are you just doing that to be nice?
No, that's how we do measurements. Yeah, we do it in square feet for all the fitness generally.
To the metric system.
Okay, 10,000 square feet. And so in terms of like what would this like cap out at? member wise?
I think we would have to limit it to about 1,000.
Okay. And is that like class constraint or open gym constraint? Like where would you feel the pain?
I think the pain would be for us, again, having done that level of fit out and having really committed to health outcomes and having really committed to sort of a service experience, we wouldn't want to go much beyond that in terms of, like, for example, space in the yoga studio or, the gym being too busy. We just feel like experience wise, that would get to a level where people could still not expect too long a wait or be able to move around comfortably.
Got it. And so how are you getting your members now?
Generally speaking, we get a lot of referrals, a lot of word of mouth, and then Instagram's big for us. We do ads on Instagram and things like that. So, generally speaking, if you can imagine, like, people love the space. The instructors at the club are amazing and they do a great job. So, as you'll tend to find with group exercise, people very much follow the instructor. If somebody feels like they get in there with that class and that instructor, that has a big influence on things as well.
And did you find that it's easier to staff and hire people because of the aesthetic of the space, or was it did you have existing relationships?
Yeah, both really, because I've been in the industry for such a long time. We knew a lot of people in terms of, people who might want to come work with us. But also, yeah, it definitely did draw attention when we opened because, like I say, it had a sort of big headline in terms of the quality of the fit out and the quality of the space initially. But then obviously we lost that when we went into lockdown. So, yeah, it wasn't difficult. It's never been difficult to recruit for, really.
And what's your target? I see in your Instagram here we're skewing a little younger than I'd say your average like coaching gym. Like, do you have kind of like a target clientele that you're going after?
No, I would say, like, it's an inclusive gym and it is welcome to everyone. But again, if you listen to the markets and the type of people who join, generally speaking, it's quite class led. So that tends to be more female as a percentage. And then we generally welcome everybody, but it's sort of like young professionals in Manchester generally. So
Okay.
it's Manchester city centre, people who are like into more HIIT training, group cycle type activities. It really is, I guess, that demographic naturally.
Got it. And you said you run ads. What are you running? Is it like a promo, or are you just running pictures of the gym? Like, what do you find that's working for you?
We run campaigns like trial campaigns like two sessions for £10 and stuff like that. So we get a micro commitment from people, and then generally, just introduce them to the space, introduce them to the team, and then introduce them to the experience. So yeah, that tends to be what works.
And I see a personal training membership here. Do you have like, are you leasing space to personal trainers, or can I come in and buy personal training from you?
You can come in and buy personal training, but then we have a PT membership. So if a PT, Manchester's pretty transient. So yeah, PTs come and join us with a large client base, and then they want to just bring their clients. So they're already set up, they already have agreements. So we just charge for a PT membership for them to access, and then the agreements between them and the PT.
Got it. Got it. And so we got these little micro commitments. We put them into a membership there. Are you guys running close to capacity now?
Yeah, I mean, we're still under what I would class as capacity, and I personally, I think the top end of the market is quite a tough space still now. Obviously, I think globally, I don't know about, can't speak for you guys, but in the UK, things are pretty tight, pretty tough in terms of the economy. We don't particularly have a supportive government for business, so the cost of operating is high. So the margins are tight, and we sit at the top end with our service and experience. So it's just steady. It's quite a steady sort of growth at the moment. Whereas I think in times like this, people will compromise on some quality and just go for that cheaper option. So your big box gym with the cheap membership, is probably more suitable when times are tough.
So 125 pounds would be considered like top end for your market?
Yes and no, actually. That's a really good question. In Manchester, yeah, it's like the top end. In London, that would still be considered pretty cheap. But yeah, for the north, the demographic and everything like that, then yeah, that's sort of, yeah, the top end. I mean, you have Pure Gyms next to us. Pure Gym is like the biggest operator in the UK, and they offer memberships for like £26. But again, the feedback that we get, and I'm not saying this is the case, but the feedback that we get there is that is absolutely packed to the rafters in terms of people in and training. So I guess it's like one trade off for the other, right? It's £26 is great value for everything that somebody like Pure Gym would offer, but with us you pay more, but the service experience and the space and things like that would be different.
So we talked about you got investors to start your journey. You positioned the gym up market, made it very beautiful. If you were doing this over, if there are plenty of people listening to this, kind of figuring out what their next concept is or their first concept, would you have done the same thing that you did, knowing what you know now?
That is such a great question. And if we take the COVID sort of experience out of it, 'cause it's not relevant for now for people and what hopefully won't be for many years to come, I would say, what would I change or what would I do differently, that aside? Well, we added the gym at a certain point because we felt we wanted more of a recognised core proposition for members. So if I could go again, I'd have probably built the gym in from the off. In terms of having like an open gym space. The reason we didn't do that is because there was a gym as part of the apartment block that we also looked after with our health services, and we thought that they would complement each other, but it turned out that wasn't the case, and we should have just built a gym anyway. So I think that the sort of learning I would share for anybody else is making sure that your core proposition is known to the market. So don't be too innovative with having these core services that people are used to, then bolt on the innovation on top of that. So if you're going to have something like a cryo chamber or offer traditional therapies like, CBT or things like that, like we did, then, it's that balance between innovation and showing that you're different and, you're looking after things in a different way, but also having those things that the market would recognize as a service that they want to associate with going to the gym.
So you were finding it tough to explain what you were doing because it was so different than what people were used to at the time?
Not necessarily tough to explain. People have always loved the concept. We have huge fans, and on a monthly basis, we get so many big brands, like every big brand you could imagine, all the major sports teams in and around Manchester have all done filming days there. They love the space. They love, they get the concept, and everybody loves the innovation. But what I would say is that it's just it's a percentage of capacity game, right? So if you want market share, a percentage of market share, you need to offer traditional services that market needs to be serviced in. So gym membership, as well as having classes, was just something we wanted to add. And when we did that, we added about 100 members. So, that was like an easy investment. And again, just provides that more rounded service, I feel.
So let me pull up my screen again. So if you're listening to this, gym owner, we are showing pictures over on YouTube. Go check that out. So it looks like you got like a little cafe here and like smoothie bar, front desk area. We got the 4 studios. Like, what is staffing this place like? It looks like you probably need, and it looks very clean, at least in the picture. So what does it take to keep this thing running?
Yeah, so again, it's a bit of a funny story. We started out with a really big payroll. We wanted to make all of our trainers internally trained. We spent huge amounts of money procuring these uniquely bespoke created classes, training those trainers to deliver those classes based on health outcomes. So we spent a lot of money early. And then as time has gone by and margins have got tighter and things have got tougher, we've just had to go to a lighter model. But obviously, as you'd expect with this positioning in the market, great service, very clean and tidy, operationally efficient. And, obviously it's a great fit out and a great space. So I would say we went heavy at the beginning and then have had to lighten up and adapt to the market as things have changed.
So if I show up at 5 p.m. on a weekday, who's on staff? Like who's working?
You're going to get your general manager, you're going to get your head coach, you're going to get the freelance team, you're going to get the community team behind front desk.
Okay. And are you one behind the desk, or you got multiple behind the desk as well?
It varies between 1 or 2 depending on the evening. So again, on the busy nights, we have a couple, but generally speaking, after that, it's 1.
Smoothie bar here, is this different than the front desk? Like, do you have a cafe and a front desk, or is that the same?
No, just smoothie bar's off the side. Yeah, it's kind of like off the side in like quite a big community space.
Okay, got it. When you say community space, that's like a cafe? Or just like a space within the
where you can present. And like I say, we have a lot of influencers and freelancers and big brands that want to sort of come and do filming for the day, and they'll do presentations on the big screen and like get their community in that area. And then obviously get the shakes and things like that. So a big secondary revenue for us, and I think another good learning for like anybody listening has just been like reprogramming and reuse of your space. So like, you know, as every gym owner will know, like occupancy and having peaks and off peaks, if you can fill those off peak hours with revenue when the gym's dead, you know, that's such a big thing. And the one advantage for us, because it's such a nice space and everybody wants to be there, we get a lot of offers for filming, we get a lot of offers for training, we get a lot of offers from freelancers and influencers who want to come and do cool stuff in that space and be associated with it. And because of peak and off peak, we get the chance to like give them a fairly up and run in off peak times. So again, that's really helped.
I also noticed here you got you became a HYROX gym. You recently affiliated.
Yes, yeah, we did. We'd done some like mock HYROX trainings, sort of simulations with the teams, and like a lot of the freelance trainers are very advanced HYROX guys. So yeah, we decided to jump in and do the official HYROX partnership. Yeah.
Has that been something that your members were asking for?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you can imagine, like, if you imagine the space, we've got strength and conditioning, we've got a huge area for functional training anyway. You know, you've got every piece of kit, we've got the sled, and so yeah, it was an easy transition, really. We've got, you know, we're a big fan of HYROX, and yeah, a lot of people were doing that style of training anyway.
Because it's just starting to blow up over here. Like I think the beginning of last year was when it started to really just like explode in the US. In Europe, it's been hot for a while, right? Like you guys are.
Yeah, I would say so. But again, I'd say it's a similar timeline, maybe a year ahead. But yeah, my trainer, he's really good at HYROX, my PT, and he's. I remember him telling me like he was doing it a couple of years ago, and there was like nobody there. No, well, not nobody there, but comparatively, like you didn't have to be on a wait list to get to an event like you do now across most of Europe. So you know, it's definitely blown up more here in this last couple of years too.
And you're running it as like dedicated classes, or is it a program? How are you monetizing that HYROX affiliation?
We did it as specialist 12-week programming with like its own revenue. So like you could do like follow the program and then, you know, lead up to an event.
Got it. So everyone in the gym is training for the same event together.
Yeah, everybody's on that program with view to an event coming up. So yeah, like again, that creates some really great sort of atmosphere between people.
And when you say they're on a program, they can come in and do it themselves at any time, or they come in and they do it at a specific class time and it's like a group situation?
Yeah, both. So there's specific classes that, again, as part of the program that everybody would come and attend. But of course, then there's the space then to come and train whenever they want and be working on things as well. And they get guidance on that programming.
Got it. And before we get into Health Labs HQ, in terms of, collective experience, running from the pits of COVID to trying to bounce back now, and what little nuggets of wisdom would you like to impart on the gym world? What other things have you picked up on along the way that you think would be helpful if you had told yourself, 3 years ago?
3 years ago up to today. Well, I think like the world.
Well, you were in the pits 3 years ago, right? That was like the let's go 5 years. We're 5 years back now. Yeah, like when you were getting started, getting things off the ground.
Yeah, I mean, the world's changed so much in terms of like social media, right? So because we're really attuned and connected to our demographic, I think our social media, particularly Instagram, for example, is really strong. We have a lot of engagement there. We get a lot of our members through it. We do a lot of reach outs through it. So again, engaging with social was like a big change from the traditional model where you could use a lot more email marketing and things like that. The Instagram page for us is a really big deal. So I would just say like being connected to social, knowing then that obviously a lot of the trainers have got their own following and things like that, and connecting in and having like the influencers come in and do their stuff, just making sure that basically you're doing as many partnerships and connections and shared engagement as possible. That would be like a big change from 5 years ago. That wasn't as much of a consideration as it is today.
Are you the mastermind behind this, or did you learn this from someone? What's the secret if besides having a beautiful gym?
Yeah, I think mastermind is too kind, but I would say like myself and the team, we've just tested and learned over the years. So I'm very brand focused. So for example, my career, I'd worked for, WeWork. I was the MD for WeWork for the UK. Virgin Active, is extremely brand focused and brand orientated. And then my other company, Reward Gateway, that I worked for, very much brand trained. So for me, aligning your mission and your values and your offering to your brand and what you want to say to people has always been like a core thing to me. So from all of my experiences, so we've just tried to maintain that throughout the period through socials.
So what does that mean for someone who maybe doesn't understand what it is to be brand focused? Is that like knowing? Yeah, explain what that means.
I think that essentially you want your experience for the member to be aligned to the messages that you portray to the public. So for me, if you have a brand that says, look, it's about strength and conditioning, building muscle. If you have a brand that says, look, it's no frills, but you're going to get an amazing workout. I think you've just got to really speak to what the experience is going to be effective at drawing in the right people. So, if you get the message in and the brand and the look and feel of what you're saying the offering is, and that lines up with the offer, that synergy, I think, works really well. And if anything, if you can make the experience even better than sort of hyping it up with what you say it's going to be, then, I feel like it's always great to exceed people's expectations once they have the actual experience. So, yeah, I just think it's really important that it's not that you need to sit at the top of the market. It's like whatever your positioning is, whatever your offering is, be really clear on what outcomes it's going to give people, and then just make sure your messaging matches the experience.
And so is this something you just figured out trial and error, or, how did you learn? How did you get good at social media? How did social media become a thing that helped you make money in the gym?
Yeah, I would say trial and error. We tested and learned and trial and error. Really, we tried lots of things. We had set rules that I enforce quite hard around staying true to the brand look and feel. But then we've tried and tested and learned along the way. So it is just that test and learn. But the principle of the approach we took and we never deviated from is what I just said. Like, clear on what you offer. Try and get, the atmosphere that's going to be in the, the offering and the experience out in the social message. And then that tends to have worked for us.
And in terms of like your rhythm, are you posting every week, every day? What's your kind of output like? And what would you recommend another gym owner if they were like, hey, I'm posting every sometimes. How frequently do I need to do this to see results?
I think posting as often as you can to drive engagement is generally a good thing, but I would rather you post a little bit less if the quality of that post is better. So I think, like, if particularly as you go up in your brand positioning, if you're nearer the top end of the market, you can't just be putting anything out there. It's got to be like procured and of a certain standard. But that's why I love things like stories, because we sort of take quite serious reign of the look and feel of the brand with the tiles. But in stories, right, you can humanize, you can have fun, you can like show what's happening that day a lot more frequently, and it can be a lot more raw in terms of like, that natural sort of scrappy look to things. So, it's a representative of what's going on that day, and you can be forgiven in stories because it's like throwaway, right? But it's a really good chance to like humanize the trainers and show what's going on. So we're sort of quite loose on stories, and let's be really, really constant with that. And then a little bit more tailored with the tiles and the look and feel of the brand when people are searching.
And let me see. So let's see, 23. So it looks like you're putting out something about once a week for posts, right? Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
And you're doing stories every single day?
Yeah, several times a day. Yeah. That's that, and that's the thing. Like, again, a post is like, again, just keeping things going. Obviously, we have periods of up and down. Right now, we've just been in August, so August summertime here is pretty dead. So again, that's something we'll ramp up like over this next period, and then it'll quieten down again here in November, December, and then obviously it spike up again in January.
August is dead everywhere, man.
Yeah.
Everyone in our industry feels the pain in August.
Yes. Well, August and December are real barren months.
Yeah. So let's talk about Health Labs HQ. What is that?
So, yeah, thank you. Yeah, so basically we've just launched something really exciting. All of the learning that we've taken from everything that we've done. So as well as having the gym, for the last 7 years, the other part of what was Zeno has been designing and delivering health interventions and health programming across elite sports, for corporate well-being, and then into the property space. So we've won loads of awards for innovation and entrepreneurship and use of data and use and the experience for people. And we're bringing that to the US with what we want to offer next. So essentially, from my perspective, I love health professionals and I love people who work in the health space and how passionate they are about helping members and working with members. So if we can take those people and then extend some of the training that they've had, some of the knowledge base that they have, and get them out there in front of people in different settings, offering health programming. So we've got, for example, sleep labs, nutrition labs. I'm going to be running the Entrepreneur Labs program, which is going to be specifically designed for helping business owners with their health, around our four pillars of health, which are physical, mental, social, and financial well-being. So it's really about health programming and taking the best of the fitness industry and the best of those health professionals and that passion, and then, bringing it to different settings where people can get that support without necessarily needing to be in the physical space.
So how does it work? Who are your clients?
So we're just launching. We're launching first with Entrepreneur Labs, and the objective first is we're going to be doing London. It's starting off in October, so we're going to have like a cohort of 30 entrepreneurs, and people are signing up for that at the moment. Because the root of all like health outcomes for me is personalization. So again, as a trained doctor in health psychology, the more you can personalize a health intervention for somebody, the way more likely chance that they are to get to an outcome. So really it's about diagnostics and personalization for that individual. So helping them understand themselves and then engaging in tailored programming across those different labs. So anybody could do sleep labs, nutrition labs, reset labs. It's really about the outcome that they want to get. But we're kicking things off with Entrepreneur Labs, which is a specialist sort of SME leaders program.
So is the program fully remote?
So most of the programming is remote, but the goal is to launch the Entrepreneur Labs in London, which is an in-person monthly event. And then if we can generate enough interest, the next goal will be to get to Austin, Texas. So again, we're going to have an Entrepreneur Labs in Austin. I've spent weeks and weeks in Austin over this last 18 months, made some amazing connections across the sort of fitness and business space. So we feel that Austin, Texas will be a great place to start for us based on the fitness scene and the health tech and the entrepreneurial scene there.
And so it'll be something where you chopper in each month, work with this group of entrepreneurs, and then you're doing the accountability and program management from where you are in Manchester.
No, nearly. Essentially, just the in-person London event, and then hopefully soon the Austin event will be in person. So that'll be people turning up on the day as entrepreneurs and getting a whole range of sort of help and expertise across personal development generally, but strategy, health, AI readiness, and leadership. So again, just taking everything that we know and we've learned and have been delivering privately in the B2B space for the last 7 years and me for the last 25 years of my career, we're now going to put solely into helping small business owners. I think there's kind of like a fairly famous saying by Viktor Frankl that says, if you can't change your circumstances, you must change yourself. And entrepreneurship is really, really tough, and business ownership is really tough. But if you can put personal resilience and the ability to cope around that with your physical health, your mental health, and your social well-being, with really effective coping strategies, we want to basically equip entrepreneurs to be able to manage their business, but also their life in a better way.
How long does the program last? What are you planning on charging for it? Is it, how is it structured?
So you can do the masterclasses for about $350 a month. That's online. So we're going to do the online program, $350. That's like a 2.5 hours, like mini masterclass version of the London event. The London event prices vary between just attending the event right through to getting one-to-one mentorship with myself. So that ranges from about 800 right through to about 2,000. Where again you'd get a monthly one-to-one as well and sort of personal mentorship. So, and then we have a whole range of bolt-on services you could add around that from, we've got like personal training from the ex-head of England Rugby's strength and conditioning coach. We've got, business advice from some amazing sort of people across finance, HR, sales, marketing, and things like that. So we've got this sort of pool of experts that we want to be able to bring in. But again, it's about that personalization. So it's making it tailored to the individual and what they need, both for themselves, but also their business.
Understood. And are you going this route because it's a more scalable approach than opening a bunch of other gyms? Why go this way versus continuing to expand the clubs?
Yeah, cost of delivery for bricks and mortar is high. Rents have gone up. Cost of operating here has gone up. So things like the minimum wage have gone up. I don't know if it's the same in the US, but in the UK, you employ a lot of students and first job people. You don't pay them very much, but you treat them well, you train them well, you equip them with lots of skills to then go get another job, that they're going to be way more ready for. So, I see gyms as often quite a launch pad for other roles for people where you'll train them well, but you don't really need to pay the highest salaries. And that's all been taken away because the national minimum wages have gone up and the taxes on top of that you have to pay here have gone up. So the margins have just gone smaller and smaller and smaller. So essentially there are just easier ways of setting up and scaling than the gym space for us. But what I'm hoping is that we can then still use health professionals, particularly fitness professionals, to support with the execution of these interventions and strategies, be it for entrepreneurs or be it for anybody who wants to go on a sleep program, a nutrition program, a strength and conditioning program. We've got diagnostics and a methodology that we've created that, again, we'll be looking for talented people who want to work for us from the United States. And we want to be a strong employer, both on a freelance basis and employed within the United States as soon as possible.
And so tell the people in the show where they can go to follow along in the journey and follow you as you go and embark on this adventure you got planned for yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, if you follow our Instagram page, which is just Health Labs HQ, and you can DM us from there. We're literally so new. We're just setting up the website, and some of our handles are changing, but the social page has just been set up and adapted from the Zeno page. So if you follow Health Labs HQ on Instagram, and then you could follow us and contact us directly.
And what is the gym handle?
The gym handle is Zeno Health Club. So at Zeno Health Club.
Awesome. And we'll be sure to link to that down in the show notes. And dear gym owner, if you got value out of this, learning from some of the top gym owners in the entire world, what we would appreciate you do is you go to usekilo.com and you book a call with my friend Mateo Lopez, where he's going to talk you through some of the services we offer. And so, we talked a lot about today, looking good online and how that impacts your revenue. And so Kilo can help you look good online. We can help you with a website. And then we can help you take all those leads who see your good-looking website, good-looking online presence, and automatically nurture them, get them to show up to your gym. And once they show up and buy, you can use our Kilo Gym Management System to make sure that they have a wonderful member experience, which is a word we talked about a lot today. So dear gym owner, learn all about this, learn all about Kilo, keep improving yourself, and we will catch you next week. We love you. Goodbye.